9:04. Is it? I got 9:04 on my phone. My phone says 9:04. Our computers are wrong.
Recording in progress.
You ready? Buenos dias. Good morning. Guten Morgen. I'm calling to order the Finance and Administration Committee meeting of the West County Wastewater District. It is Thursday, the 12th of December, and it is 9:05 a.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Director King Meredith
Present.
and Chair Suddick.
I am present. I can't tell you how much present, but I am present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam. Public comments for items not on the agenda. Members of the public may comment during this time up to 3 minutes per speaker. Directors may ask brief clarifying questions but may not engage in discussion regarding public comment made during this time. Now is that time. Madam Clerk, have we received any public comments or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on non-agenda items, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Excellent, excellent. Deputy General Manager Justin Lovell, will you please do us the honor and lead us through the remainder of the agenda?
All right, good morning. Item 1 on the agenda is to accept the minutes of the November 14th, 2024 Finance Administration Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 1, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, no public comments.
Who is that? Director, my fellow director. Do you have any comments or would you like to move this item to acceptance?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I do not have any comments, but I would like to move this item to accept the minutes of November the 14th, 2024 Finance and Administrative Committee meeting minutes.
With that, I concur. Sir?
All right. So item 2 on the agenda is to review the 2025 investment policy. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 2, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right. Before we'll have a brief presentation on this item, but just let you know, so the investment policy is what guides the investments, our cash investments in West County Wastewater District. Our policy requires that we have a review to the committee and the board annually. So we adopted a calendar year basis. We looked through the existing policy that was adopted last year, and we just made a few edits, more grammatical edits on there, and in one section, Section F related investments, we also just added the title of Deputy General Manager just to be consistent with some of the organizational changes that are happening, but otherwise it is the same policy and with no changes that we're proposing for this next year, so it's minor changes. So with that, we'll just do Maria Bagley, our finance manager, will give us a brief presentation just about our investments and where our money is invested, and then we can answer any questions you have. All right, Maria.
Good morning, Chair Sadeth and Director King Meredith. I am Maria Bagley, the finance manager. Today I'm going to talk to you about our investments. Next slide. So essentially, WCW has One second.
We getting seasick over here.
It is this, okay.
I feel bad for the viewers. WCW has 4 investment accounts where we hold and pull excess cash, and 1 OPEB account, which is other post-benefit account, and our operating account. These accounts are defined in the overview, the class, camp, LAIF, and US Bank, which is where we hold our bond proceeds, and then the PARS account, which is our OPEB. Please note there is an asterisk on the US Bank account that is essentially under the West County Financing Authority. So that is our bond funds where we provide our capital. These accounts are all considered managed accounts, and they're also pooled investment accounts. These are not self-directed. That means here at WCW, we're not actively trading in and out of different positions to try to beat the market. These are what we would call passively managed. However, our OPEB account, WCW does essentially pick the investment strategy. Next slide. So here, this is essentially an average 12-month looking back from October, so this kind of does cross over fiscal year. And then what we have as of October in our investment accounts. I do want to kind of bring to your attention that over the last fiscal year, our investments have done rather well because of the short duration that we have and the interest rates being so high, but we've actually noticed a decline, and that's just with the current economic conditions. Our economy is still considered relatively strong. Unemployment has been going up, but inflation's been going down, and as such, the Fed has been rates. So you will see this probably next year drop a little bit. The PARS account is more of an actively investment account here. As you can see, the return on that is 22% year on year, but we are expecting that to go down as well. And so this right here is our allocations for our investment accounts. The majority of our allocation is in what is considered safer securities. So these are your U.S. government treasuries. These are also your short duration CDs, commercial paper, all others, which could be a short duration repo account. We don't have a lot of potentially risky accounts in our investment accounts. Like I said, these are pooled accounts, and they are kind of actively managed in a shorter duration fund because they have to be liquid. That's it.
Yeah, I just want to point out, thank you, Maria, just on our accounts, in the investment policy, the camp and LAIF and class, so those are all considered pooled accounts. So there's one section in the investment policy that just covers the pooled accounts, and then they commit to essentially meeting what we have within the investment policy, but they're really focused on, they're meeting what the California state government code regarding investments, and so they're following that, but it is, as it is allowed within our investment policy for pooled investments, and it seems to be the most effective for us at this point. And so, yeah, we can, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Director King Meredith?
Yes, for, this is under the allocations, correct? Yeah, on the allocation. Just on this particular slide, as it has been broken out for the diversities of where these monies are going through these different pools, I just have a question for the class. I know this is all diversified, and they, monies is put, bonds and paper is put in different places. But I was just wondering the percentage. I was counting different percentages because, you got, so much, 2%, 20% to go into these different categories. But the one on the class, that's 237,872. That percentage, what percentage is that? under that class?
I don't have the percentages off the top of my head, but it's
But it-
definitely less than 1% for 200, like 0.5%
That's
of
a-
agencies, yeah.
Right, that's a really tiny percent, okay. So that one, and just for clarification for myself, the PARS, I know what class mean and camp, and so what is PARS, for clarification?
That is our PARS account. I don't know the definition.
Public Agency
Public
Retirement System. So it is essentially a private company that manages manages different investment accounts for public agencies. They do a couple different things as a company. So we have an account with them through our other post-employee benefit account. So that's for the retiree medical, that we have an investment account with them. We also have the option to, and that's under the Section 115 trust, or the IRS code 115. And we also have an account with them we have the ability to put money in for the pension-related liabilities as well with PARS. For some other public agencies, PARS provides a kind of a retirement benefit similar to Social Security for some other cities, and that's also, but as our agency is, we don't have really part-time employees, so it's not, and if we did have a part-time employee, they would pay into Social Security. Let's put it in there. But, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Very good. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you for the information. A quick question, can you go back a couple slides? First of all, do we have this presentation? I don't think we have this presentation.
It was part of the packet, I believe.
I don't see it in the packet. I see the staff report in the packet. Well, maybe it is a part of the attachments, but I think
It's part of the
very
attachments,
end.
yeah.
it's at the very end. Okay. The question I have was, you made a statement about WCW picks its investment strategy.
That's in the PARS account, yes.
That's what I wanted you to say. I think you already knew because you just clarified it. So when it goes to the full board, my recommendation is that you make that clarification, and then you say what that means.
Okay.
Just that one clarification.
Okay.
So that we don't go around down the rabbit hole of how does that work, and line by line of picking.
Right.
I think right. I don't think I want to get into a hour-long discussion of picking line by line of investments. So if you could make that clarification, that would be great. And then we had a conversation, I believe, at the board level previously, maybe it was about a year ago, about making sure that we have some kind of caveats with each of these brokerages, about making sure that we have something that aligns with our core values. Do we have that somewhere, like a statement, or we have that, right?
Well, we've had several discussions with the different firms that manage the pooled accounts. So it's PFM, who manages CAMP, and Public Trust Advisors. I know you've had discussions with some of those
I
staff
have.
members at conferences. And so they have verbally said anything. We don't have a written statement. They have said, they've reviewed our investment policy, but they have kind of verbally committed, and part of their strategy of the way that they make decisions on which companies should or should not be, could be part of their investment portfolio, and they have some components, but it's not a full-on what we would call like the ESG kind of
Right.
caveat in there.
And I guess that's well, it's not just ESG, but it's also California has a set of rules, laws, and general counsel. I forgot the name, where we can't invest. We're not allowed to invest.
They do
in
follow
certain-
the state law
Right.
related to investments.
And I think I just want to, I forgot what it's called.
So there are a number of provisions in the government code that limit the types of investments that agencies can enter into. And Maria talked a little bit about the level of security in all of these investments and the reason behind that. So our policy aligns with state law. And part of this update is to make sure there haven't been any recent changes to state law that we need to incorporate. But in addition to that, as Justin was mentioning, West County's policy, which is not necessarily a state requirement, does address things like socially responsible investing, ESG, and
ESG especially.
our
Yeah.
previous discussions have indicated as the board was approving each of these different pooled investments, class, camp, et cetera, that this topic has consistently come up. And what Justin
Yes.
recalls in terms of the level of commitment that the entities have provided with regard to having reviewed our policy and their ability to comply.
Right. So, because I know when they came to me at some of these conferences, that was the first question I asked. Is, what is your level of commitment to ESG principles? So I say that to say, so that we don't go into an hour-long discussion on this at the general meeting. I think that would just be good to put it out front. Is to say that we've had these conversations with them, and I know that many of these is already in their mission statement. It is in their core value statement. So we may want to just say that up front, right? Or that they have committed to maybe not saying the same values, but similar core principles or core values is WCW has, including our ESG values. It may not be the same, but it's similar. And I mean, and I can say that from when I give our committee report, Director King Meredith and I can say something similar. But that way we don't go into that rabbit hole,
Right, that is mentioned.
right? That was just mentioned. But did the updates do align with current state laws like the general counsel say? Anything else, Director King Meredith? But that was my major question, was that and how we pick our investment strategy. But they were constantly looking at it. I like that it's going up, or that it's, it's going with the flow. It's not going a huge downturn, which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah, and it is the future. Sorry, so actually, go ahead.
The only other thing I was going to say is what I always say, because I don't want to get into another discussion about this, is having just a very small under the table, the legend. I mean, I know what powers mean, I know what camp means, I know what class means, only because I always go to the conference. But just having it under there, and then you don't have any questions for it, okay? Yes, sir.
Yeah, just the last comment, I just wanted to reiterate that this is this investment policy is also a redelegation of authority of the general manager
I would say
to
that.
make investments on behalf of West County Wastewater.
Using his discretion, yeah. I would just say that too. Okay. I would just bring that out, right? And some of these we've already approved, so I don't want to have to go into that discussion either, right? We've already approved it. So, just say that too, so, sometimes short memories.
Right.
So, Ms. Director King Meredith, anything else?
Yes, just something that just came up. I just thought about it. And as far as the review, these reviews that we have, somewhere I think I read within this a document, this report that is mentioned that it will be by every other year or something, like on the odd year.
I believe the budget is written that way, where every odd number year we would
Right.
adopt a 2-year budget, but the investment policy is
It's
set up
annual-
annually.
it's annual every
and
year.
so it's on a calendar year basis.
Okay, and you get for everybody. Okay, all right. Thank you. I'm done.
But we also review the budget if there's anything we need to see.
To be changed, right? Okay.
Okay, you want to
Okay.
make a,
Yeah,
you want to
so,
move to,
I would
make
like
a
to move
motion to
this-
move this to the,
yes, I would like to move to make, for this item to be brought to the full board.
okay.
Our next board meeting from our Finance and Administrative Committee for the WCW 2025 investment policy draft and its 2024 Financial Administration Committee investment,
Okay,
PowerPoint.
all right. And
Okay.
I concur with the additional comments that I gave
Right.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The legend, and then making sure you say that one comment about how the investment strategy is related to PARS. Yes, thank you. Next item, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. Maria. Ms. Bagley.
Item 3 on the agenda is to review recommended changes to the resolution of management authority of the general manager, delegating authority, approving designs and plans for construction projects. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments? Speak.
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 3, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, no public comment.
Okay, so just to kind of give a brief introduction of this, and our general counsel can expand a little bit more if needed. So we are recommending adding a section in the management authority resolution, which most recently was updated last year related to the delegation of, related to risk and claims. But so we want to add a section that really it provides a liability kind of immunity related to construction projects that the board approves. So there's a section, California Government Code, that allows if plans and designs for construction projects are kind of approved by the board of directors or through a delegated authority, that it provides some immunity if somebody in the future comes along and says, hey, your project caused harm on me and I want to have a claim against it, and I think it's your design is flawed. So this provides some protection for West County Wastewater. And so we are just recommending that this gets approved or gets added into the management authority resolution, and that the design approval authority can be delegated to the general manager or his designee. And the way that this is written is that for these construction projects, that it'll be kind of each individual where they weigh the benefits and advantages of risk for considerations about the projects. And so then this delegation authority will just provide that additional kind of liability protection for West County Wastewater. We were looking through, this hasn't been happening for the recent projects, and so this will just help provide some just additional level of protection for West County Wastewater. There is no monetary value. All the projects that need to be approved by the board according to the purchasing authority are going to continue coming to the board of directors and will as normal. So there won't be necessarily any other changes related to what the general manager's authority is. So I don't know if Nicole has any things to add, but if we're happy to answer any questions about this.
Dr. King Meredith.
Just a comment, as far as if any claims come through, it's a cap, from what I'm understanding, it's a cap for the authorization for our general manager to sign off, or its designee. The cap is like, maybe up to 50,000.
Yeah, yes, that was related specifically to the claims authority that was previously adopted by the board. So this, what we're recommending here, there's no dollar limit on it because it's just related to construction projects. But so what you're referring to is a cap of the authority for related to settling claims with the district. But so if any claim comes to the district that's above that amount, yes, it would have to be considered with the board of directors.
Right, okay. Clarification. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, I'm done. Madam Chair?
Wait, can you repeat that? Because it does say up to 50,000.
So that's the previously approved delegation of authority related to the settlement of claims. So the board has already approved that. There is a threshold on that. There is a limit. The idea is there that the general manager can take any actions, including, for example, filing a notice of action in response to a claim, but can only settle claims up to that $50,000 amount. Anything in excess of that would come to the board.
Right,
But
I have
that's the existing authority. That's not a change by this action.
This change is for the design.
This
and-
change is
And
just-
construction of improvement
Exactly,
projects.
exactly. So it's the highlighted language, or
Right.
rather the track changes language on page 22 of the packet.
Right, and I'm looking at that, and the reason there is no associated dollar amount, can you say that again? I'm trying to follow what you just say. Because no,
clarify?
reading.
Yeah.
Clarify why there is, I'm trying to follow it, so when we get to the board meeting, I'm trying to make sure that I can anticipate any questions that are gonna come up. So can you just say it again for me?
So the board has already delegated authority to the general manager to take actions related to and enter into contracts up to a certain threshold. In this case, for construction contracts, that's $200,000 or the amount in the CUPCA statute as it may be amended, which it shortly is going to be updated in the new year. This is, within that authority, he has the authority to approve designs and plans for those construction projects. What this is getting at is the authority to approve designs and plans for what will be board-awarded contracts. So at the point of issuance of the solicitation, the general manager has the authority to approve the designs, and those designs and plans go into the solicitation, they're bid on, and then that project comes back to the board, and the contract is awarded or considered by the board at that time.
He doesn't already have this?
Does not have this delegation of authority yet, and I mean, for an agency like West County, where much of our infrastructure is underground, there is, the risk is different than maybe at some other public agencies where a lot of their infrastructure is above ground. But this authority is really key to making sure that the agency can effectively push back on a claim related to the design of any infrastructure.
That's why I'm just about,
Yeah,
he doesn't
it's-
already have
It is
this.
honest. It is more in the nature of a cleanup item, I think, than
Okay.
anything
That-
else. This
okay,
isn't,
so
I think, really.
I think that's the lead-in that I need, because I'm like, he doesn't have this already. Because this is a little, I'm surprised that he doesn't already have it. This is number one. And number two, I think I'm a little confused because it says for board-awarded contracts. So is it only for, so shouldn't he have this period, not just for board-awarded contracts?
Because of his authority to take any actions for contracts up to the board awarded amount, he has that authority already. If you'd like, we can absolutely clarify and just say for all
awarded
contracts.
contracts?
That's fine.
Because
I think that exists already, but we can do that just for
I think
belts
for,
and
it's because it's a
suspenders.
cleanup item, because I think that's what was throwing me off, because I'm sitting here, I'm wrote for board awarded contracts, and then as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, so why not for all contracts? So I think for me, the way my brain works and the way just my contracting experience, because it's what I do every day, my head is going. I would like for it, and I think maybe the general counsel should introduce it. And I'm saying that before we even move it. I think the general counsel should introduce it as a cleanup item, and just what you just said. And then I do think it should say for all contracts, not just board awarded contracts. Because I think that takes away all ambiguity or confusion, and that it is a cleanup item. Because I do think that will keep it moving, and that there is, anything that needs to happen, confined space or eliminating any of that kind of things in this environment is going to be necessary. I don't have any questions for you. She answered it, sir.
Would it be okay, Chair Sutton, if I make a
Absolutely,
comment?
sir. Make a comment
First
for the record.
Right.
Tell everybody who you are.
Okay, I'm Andrew Clow, I'm the general manager. And the first is, there's no additional contract authority that is being awarded to, or being granted to the general manager. There's no change in that. And Justin, are we currently taking any action to protect ourselves and use this protection from liability?
We looked at, I know some other public agencies, they will bring the design plans to their elected body for authorization prior to going out to bid. And so we have not been doing that. So I think we don't have that immunity right now. And so this is part of the cleanup item that we were talking about as we were going through all of our policies, that this was identified that this is something that will give us a greater legal protection in the future for if anything would happen.
So it's actually something that we should have been doing, and the board should have been taking that action on these anyway. We were not. We were not protecting ourselves. And what many agencies do is they'll, rather than the board reviewing the design and determining that it is appropriate design, that is usually delegated to the city manager or the city engineer to do so on behalf of the board. Some agencies would still require the board to essentially approve that decision. Others do not. We're asking that I don't have to ask your approval for having made that decision. That it's either one that I will make, or I will talk to the appropriate engineer who's reviewed the specifications and we're comfortable with the design. Because there is a certain level of care that needs to be taken. If we don't take, then we can't, absolve ourselves of all liability because we have a truly, derelict or faulty design. We can't hide behind that. We still need to follow standard industry care and practice, et cetera, which we will do.
If I could add to that exact point, the standard here in terms of review is making sure that the plans have been, for example, prepared by a licensed engineer. Those are the kinds of requirements. It doesn't require independent sort of secondary review or expertise. It is that level of reasonableness, as Andrew indicated. That's what we need to achieve in order to avail ourselves of this design immunity. And so, in kind of looking at the different policies and the delegation of authority, we took a look at it and said, well, this is one that seems to be a little bit of a gap that we can clean up. So let's clean up this item, and if the board is comfortable with that, here we go.
It's reasonable. No, I think it's very reasonable. I don't see why the board is approving it anyway. To me, it's not even a common sense item. It's a sense item. So, you want to move it?
So, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move for the resolution for the management authority for the general to be able to have the authority of approving the designs and plans for the construction project.
And I concur with the discussion we just had, and I do think that it will move a lot smoother if General Counsel introduces it, stipulating that this is not only a cleanup item, but it is for legal protection of the agency.
Okay.
It will move a lot smoother and a lot better conversation. So, did you have something?
Nope, saying thank you. That is, we'll plan to bring this in the board meeting in January.
January?
Yeah,
Okay,
we are.
let me make a note, January meeting. And with that, and then the investment policy, just,
We're planning to bring actually next week. Next
okay,
Wednesday.
perfect, December meeting. Okay, with that, sir, we're on to the next item.
Yep, so item 4 on the agenda is reports on issues or matters pertaining to the work of the committee. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
If not, if anyone wishes to speak on this item, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Okay. Does staff have anything before we speak?
No, we have no additional reports at this time.
Okay, thank you. Director King Meredith.
Not at this time. I don't have any reports.
Yes, you do.
Well, they're community. Okay, let me retract. I do. I have some announcements. Says yes, I
You
do.
want, you can do it now, you can do it later.
I can do it later. I'm
It's
fine.
up to you.
I'm fine. I have none. Thank you.
Okay. There was at our last meeting. We took a look at the contracts. And I know we're going to go back through them. You're going to bring those back to us on the current contracts. Are we going to do that in January or February? Do we know?
We have a long list of potential items for the F&A committee, so I can kind of coordinate with you a little bit on
Okay.
recognizing that in the new year, we do have quite a few items that we will kind of be bringing to the committee. So we'll have to, we'll kind of look on where that will fit.
Okay. And since Director King Meredith didn't bring it up, I'll bring it up for her. We have a number of community events, and I think it belongs in this meeting. We have a number of community events that we've been coordinating, and yeah, now you're gonna say, oh. Yeah, you want to talk about it? It's not an announcement, but we need to, the school and the Youth Services Bureau and the school district, and so some of these events, I know we have some, things to give, but in particular, what we wanted to talk about it in our later discussions. There's a couple of things. We have the CASA conference, the Aqua conference. We have a number of different conferences coming up where we will be attending, and so I would like to put on our agenda to discuss here and then take to the larger board meeting a couple of things. One of them is the discussion about sponsorship. I got one from Contra Costa branch of the Special Districts Association. They're having their annual dinner, and they're asking if we will sponsor. And then, of course, we always get the sponsorship requests from Casa, Aqua, and all of that. So I want to have that discussion here. I know we talked about it last year about what parameters do we put around sponsorships and asking for the scholarship donations. So I think that we can have that discussion here in this committee and then take it to the larger board. So the sponsorship and donations requests and what that means. And then the number two is the board level. I know we have it for the district, but the board level, what do you call those? The little trinket things that we give out when we go speak.
The swag.
Swag,
Is that what you're referring
thank
to? Yeah.
Swag, right? Because we get requests to come, and we have one coming up that I want to make sure that we have. Yes, that we have. We're going to be speaking at the school district and going and also at the community college, and then at other events. And it's a little bit different than the regular stuff we give out when we go out with you guys, right? Sometimes we're speaking from you're speaking from working in the district, or you're speaking from working in particular field. We're speaking from working on our end or going into public service, which is a little bit different from working in the industry. So I want to talk about that. And there was one more. Director King Meredith. Push me. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm talking about, is the elementary school and then the tours. I do want to talk about the tours because we keep getting asked about tours. And whether that's live or virtual, I want to figure out how we can get these elementary, middle school, and high school students a really good tour or a feel for coming back to the water industry, because we get a repeated request for that. So what can we do for that? And then there is we've been really working hard in water education for Latino leaders, which you guys know I'm in because the district sponsored it, and California Association of African American Water Education Fund. Both of them have a joint program for training Blacks in water and Latinos in water. There's a special leadership program for specifically for Blacks in water and Latinos in water to get leadership training for those who are already working in West County, well, but I'm specifically concerned about West County water, to be trained to move up. And it's free, there's no cost, it's 6 to 8 months of training, and they're asking for names for that. So I need to submit names, because it's a limited cohort of 15, and they're asking each of us to submit 2 to 3 names. For that, I will announce it again tomorrow, but I wanted to announce it here so you can start thinking about it. So it's a grant-funded program that's joint between WELL, CAWEF, and the Jewish Foundation. So Black, Latino, Jewish workers who are interested. We have a huge grant from the state and federal program. And the last one is we are also working with Contra Costa Community College to try and get to use some of these other grant monies to train people to become operators, and that'll feed into our internship program and also to new workforce development program. So, we want to figure out how we can do that, work jointly with that. And again, that's our finance and administration duty here, and from our end is promoting that. So I want to see what we need to do as board directors to promote that from our end, because it's flowing through the organizations that we belong to with WELL and CAWEF, so our impact is on our organizations, but the impact is on the district. So we manage it from the organizations, but we got to work with the district to make that happen. So we got to figure out how do we do that without. I don't want to step operationally, but it's what we do on the outside. So how do we do that delicate dance?
Yeah, we can, I think that's something we can discuss more. I know it's on a future agenda topic for the F&A committee to talk
Yes.
about internships. Just to let you know that we do have a few what I'd consider interns in our treatment plant. So we have 2 who are operators, kind of operator in training. We have a maintenance and training. And 2 of the operators in training actually came, we're members of a program called Baywork, just for if you're aware of them, which is a consortium of water agencies in the Bay Area. And so they've been working very hard and connecting, creating pipelines for people to get into the water and wastewater industry. So we've hired 2 that they came in through the Baywork program, that they're working with us on a part-time basis and kind of an internship learning the operator trades, and we have 1 person working on maintenance right now. So I think that's some more information that we can provide at a future meeting.
That would be great. And the last one is, in case you don't know, Greg Castor, and I'll say this again tomorrow, so pretend you didn't hear it today, but Greg Castor from CASA, and he has been our big champion for biosolids and bioresources. He's retiring. He's actually been working by coastal, and he in between DC and I think he lives in Colorado somewhere. He's retiring. We have a new contact there, and there's a big thing planned for him at CASA, both CASA events in January, and we have a new I think who we've been working with. We did something for him in Davis. We'll have something for him this weekend in Sacramento. I think it's Roseville or something, which is not Sacramento, by the way. You need like another hour.
It's in a different county.
You need like another hour. This is like the difference between San Francisco and San Jose. They lied to you. He's not the same. Like, keep driving. He has been a real stalwart. So, yeah. I will likely buy a card or something from West County and present it from West County to Greg. So just a heads up. If you see something from me or if you get a thank you from him thanking West County for something, hey, I wrote our name on it. So just so you know. But he has been really good. So I will let you know who our new contact is there. And that was it. Like that wasn't enough, but that was it. Ms. Robin, Madam Clerk, I'm sending it back over to you.
Yes. So the next Finance and Administration Committee meeting is scheduled for January 14th, 2025, here at 9 a.m.
I appreciate that. With that, this meeting is so efficient, is adjourned at 9:50 a.m. Wait, let me make sure that's right, because the computer is not always correct. It is correct, 9:50 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.